just these really rad women that were like writing their things and acting in it. And I was like, well, if no one's gonna cast me, then I guess I'll cast myself.
Hi everyone, my name is Sonia and today I'm with The Eye Opener. We interviewed actor and director Taelor Lewis-Joseph, who is a multifaceted creative in her final year of Procom at Ryerson. She's acted in several RT final year projects, one of which has won Best Practicum in 2019. She also recently released a docu-series that she co-created and co-directed, Howtoart. We chatted with her to get to know more about her and what motivated her to be the creative that she is today. Taelor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Taelor, tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to pursue acting and how did you get into it?
So it kind of started from, I was never really into, acting when I was in elementary school. I just, went to a private school randomly. And then there was a thing that came on the radio that was want to be like Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez? And I was like, heck yeah. So I kind of started getting into acting, just, straight into film and TV and auditioning. But I think that I just always loved making people laugh and feel something and just entertaining others. But I was pretty awkward and insecure and didn't really know how to do that very well when I was younger. If I made somebody laugh, I'd be like, ha ha ha, a win for the day. And then just try to awkwardly be a little clown again. But I think that acting, when I got into it, I think I just really discovered that I like entertaining. And then later on through that, I just realized that I liked storytelling. So acting kind of came in different wins for me because, sorry, this is a very long-winded answer to your question.
All good.
By the time so that's kind of how I first got into acting. And then I just started going to acting classes and stuff. And then I was good at it and people told me that I was good at it. And then I decided to go to an arts high school. I got into Cardinal Carter Academy for the Arts. And then in high school, it was another phase of that where acting was just something that I feel like I took for granted because we did it every morning and every evening and had rehearsals 3 times a week. And it wasn't until the end of high school that I actually started to walk around saying yes, I'm an actress, because it was just a thing that I liked to do and that I knew how to do. And I was just in an environment where everybody else was doing it and acting and stuff, right? So yeah, it's been a 3-part journey with acting and is probably still going on, but I love it and I just love storytelling. So I don't know if that answered that.
No, it's perfect. And you went from acting to directing, when and why did you switch over? I know you like storytelling, so is that part of it?
Yes, that is part of it. As I was saying with acting in high school, I got a taste of directing and producing, but more in a theater sort of sense, and I loved that. And then, I don't know, I just kind of went to university. I'm not in RTA, I'm in Procom, so that's just not very related to storytelling in a very obvious way. So I think that in figuring out that I love acting, but I also know that it's something that I'm very much at the mercy of others when you're acting, because you're just auditioning for things, right? You can for sure make your own stuff, but that's when you get into the realm of being a producer and a director and a writer. And I think that towards the end of high school and then beginning of university, kind of when I was doing my applications and figuring out what I wanted to do next, that's where I kind of discovered that I just love storytelling. And yeah, I think that that's why I got more into directing and writing and producing. I was also just super inspired by Issa Rae and Michaela Cole, just these really rad women that were writing their things and acting in it. And I was like, well, if no one's gonna cast me, then I guess I'll cast myself, which sounds kind of narcissistic.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of narcissistic, but I promise it's not.
And now that you've experienced both roles, being an actor and a director, how does it feel to be on the other side of the camera, and which side do you prefer?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Tough question.
It is a tough question. Because I love both sides. They're there are a lot of things that you get out of each when you are like producing and directing and writing. Like you're really with the story from day dot, and you get to watch it develop. And I loved watching how Taelor art develop. I've loved watching other things that I've worked on develop, from something that's in your head to something that is like on a screen or on a stage. But with acting, I think that acting can be more personal, whereas when you are like directing and producing, like you're kind of like managing other people as well. You know what I mean?
Right,
You're definitely working with more of a team. Whereas acting, there's a lot of like introspection that you have to do and a lot of investigating as well, because you get into the process so late in the game. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like the team is already hired, like everyone's been talking, they know what's going to happen. Like you're just kind of getting a call sheet the day before and the script, and they're like, okay, like stand in front of the camera, look pretty, and do your thing. So there's a lot of investigating and a lot of, I don't know, work that you kind of have to do for yourself, while also being comfortable with everyone and establishing relationships that are supposed to seem like relationships that are 15 years long, but you like just met the person, everything too, right? So yeah. I don't know if that answered the question properly, but...
No, we understand. You love both sides.
I love both sides, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. So Taelor, you mentioned that you're studying pro-com. So tell us about how that has helped you in any way with your acting or directing, or if it hasn't.
Yeah, I think that pro-com, and I guess just being at Ryerson in general, has really helped me see it more as a business and treat it as such.
Right.
I think that it helped me with my organizational sense. I used to be a strict like Google Docs girl, but Sheets and Excel, data validation, I love it. And I think that I learned those experiences through Procom and then also working at Zone Learning at Ryerson. I've worked at Zone Learning for a little bit over a year now. And at the same time that I was doing that, I was just also exposing myself to other methods of organization and event planning. And there are so many skills that you learn from those jobs and those environments that are very like business oriented, but are what we kind of need as creatives, right?
So that's amazing. I mean, you have the creative side and then you're getting like the business and organization aspect from school.
Yeah. And it's not in a way where it's like daunting or intimidating. It's in a way where it's presented like this is just what you have to do, because being organized can lead to X, Y, and Z, and just not being confused. And I think that generally speaking, I've always been someone that likes to see things like laid out ahead of me before jumping in head first. So this definitely helps with that.
That's great. So howtoart has been taking off and it's been getting lots of recognition. So how's that been for you and your whole team?
It has been. Our team has been so great. We had some really great editors and a great cast and crew and everything. Our communications team, actually one of them is currently in Procom, Sonia. And she was the one that made our website. And then when we started doing our communications for HTA, they were the ones that were kind of like, this feels more than just a web series. Like this feels like a collective. It feels like something more that you're trying to do. So when we were talking with them and developing it, we developed LearnTO. And then in LearnTO, we have LearnTO Art and LearnTO Resources, because some of the topics that we talk about in the web series, like, I don't know, a lot of feedback that we heard, people were just really able to like relate to our artists, be that for like the social and racial injustices that we talk about, or just like some mental health things that we touch upon. So we wanted for there to kind of be more to it. So I think that that's also helped us with our communications. And that's not to sound like marketing-y or grimy or anything like that, but I think that we just kind of saw where it could evolve to and how many people it could help. So yeah, we did that.
And just curious, like, how did you guys come together as a team? Like, how did you all meet?
It's so random. It's so random. I was writing a web series that I wanted to produce, again, when I was like, let me be Issa Rae, called Greater. And then I posted in a Facebook chat, and then that's how Amanda and I first started talking. Amanda's my co-creator, and I couldn't have done this without Amanda, to be honest. When we were first getting started with things, it was Amanda that kind of said, like, Taylor, this is a really good idea. Like, let's do something with it. And it was Amanda's contacts that we first started to like reach out to when we were like, does anybody have equipment that we can use? A director of photography, because I just didn't have those people in my circle and in my spaces. Again, I come from an acting background and I go to communication. So when it came to doing our comms and doing our marketing, that's where I was like, okay, I have some of these people that like we can look at. But when it came to knowing about like technical things and post-production, Amanda is the best. And yeah, how we kind of met was via a Facebook group chat. And then Amanda had followed up with me like months later, like this is August of 2019. And then Amanda had messaged me again in March of 2020. The first time I saw Amanda like in the flesh in 3D was like 3 days before we were supposed to go to set, when we were like picking up all of our equipment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then the rest of our team members, we either got through them filling out a Google form, like the cast that we had, our artists.
Okay.
That was an interview process that we had. And then everybody else was kind of, some were applications, some people had applied, other people were like friends of friends that we then interviewed and then evaluated from there, and that's how we kind of got our team. We knew that we wanted for our whole team to be women and people that were non-binary.
Yes.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that's something that we like consciously did. We were like, no men. So
that's amazing, honestly.
Thanks.
And tell us a little bit about your future plans. Like, what are you going to be doing next? Do you have any projects lined up, or even with How to Art?
I love that question. Right now, I'm just trying to graduate. I'm trying to finish my capstone. But I have been writing a little bit more for the web series that I was originally creating. A few friends have asked me to do some like production management and communications consulting on their projects. But I think number one is that I just want to be on set as much as I can. I want to, if not act, then be like on set as a production assistant or a producer. Those are kind of like what my hopeful plans are. And then making more episodes of HTA if I can.
Yes, we'd love to see more episodes. And you know, there's a lot of people that want to get into the industry and make their mark, be on set. Do you have any advice for young creatives?
Yes. It's gonna sound so tacky, but just
no worries.
Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it. Even if you feel, yeah, right? Like even if you feel underprepared, or like you're getting, I don't know, when I was doing HTA, there were so many moments where I was like, I'm booking a dance studio right now. And then when we got like our grant from the Canadian Arts Council, I was like, how did we get this money just now? There were so many instances where I was just like, what's going on? How is this happening right now? I feel like I had more dues that I needed to pay and more steps that I needed to take. But I think that more often than not, you're more prepared than you think you are. And it's just a matter of getting up and doing it.
Taylor, it's been amazing hearing about your journey, and we can't wait to see what you're going to come up with next.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all taking the time, hearing me gab. Thank you.
Everyone, make sure to see Taylor's new series on howtoart.ca. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.